Hey guys, and welcome to, I guess, the final episode of this Star Wars celebration leading up to The Force Awakens. And today we'll be talking about Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi is the conclusion for our heroes Luke Skywalker, Leia Organa, Chewbacca, Han Solo, R2-D2, C-3PO, Lando Calrissian, and some teddy bears, as they aid in the disruption of the dark side and the defeat of the evil Emperor. What did you think of Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi?
I liked it overall, but it wasn't no Empire Strikes Back, that's for sure. There's a lot of problems with it. Like, for me, one of the big thing is pacing-wise. It was very slow, like towards the middle. It just seemed to drag on for more than what was required.
Not only did it drag on too, but a lot of the earlier scenes up until you get into the Death Star fight really have no consequence to the story. They're just like mini stories inside of one big story, and it's kind of a little bizarre.
When it starts to pick up momentum, like when he's starting to realize what he needs to do after the whole Yoda scene, that's when I started getting like, okay, this is good.
That's almost like 45 minutes into the movie.
Yeah. I mean, the opening scene with, the whole Jabba the Hutt and him rescuing Leia and then Han Solo was entertaining, and that you get to see him use more of his knowledge of the Force, and also he's becoming a hero, Luke. Like, he's becoming more sure of himself. There's a certain level of confidence that he doesn't have in the previous two movies that he has in this one, which I think is the, culmination of his training and the culmination of what his destiny is supposed to be.
And that scene is pretty classic now, too. But it's a little convoluted. When you think, like, we could have used maybe like 10 minutes of screen time to say everything you just said.
Right.
And instead they used like 30 minutes.
It did use I remember you started laughing when it finally breaks, apart where they start fighting and all that stuff. You were like, really? He really needed to send Leia first?
Yeah.
He really needed
Well, no, they sent Lando first. He didn't do anything. Then they sent Leia. No, then they sent C-3PO and R2-D2.
And then they sent Leia. And then fucking, at this point, Han Solo's already, free. And then Chewie's on it too.
Yeah.
And so it's just like all these people are pretty much setting up for Luke to get there.
Who did you leave to even watch the ships?
The whole rebellion's going on without them.
That would have been funny if they just then everybody kept coming. Then Wedge until he was coming. Then
the fucking fish. Akbar comes in. He's just like, it's a trap.
A bunch of new characters in this one. Well, I guess if you're talking about if we were in 1983, Jabba the Hutt. I love that puppet so much. It's so, it's a puppet. It looks like a puppet, but it's just believable. I don't know how to explain that.
It's because they gave us that shitty thing where they did the animation Jabba the Hutt, remember? When he added that special, that meeting between Han Solo and Jabba the Hutt. I think it was in the first one, right? It was in the first one. It just looked too stupid.
Yeah.
But I think that what the puppet gives us is more of what we've been talking about. Like, there's this tangibleness to it.
It's here.
It's there.
It's right there.
You can actually see the moments where the puppeteers are working like in coordination. So someone's blinking the eyes, and then someone is moving the mouth, and someone's moving the hands, and to have that all sync together gives us that level, I think, of belief that this is an actual person or an actual being. If you really think about Boba Fett and all these trilogies, his prominent role is this one, right? Because he was in Empire,
but this was his like rider role when the original movies came out. He just sort of died like a bitch ass.
He did die. Well, presumably he dies. We don't know if he really. There's that whole fan-made thing where he crawls out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, the extended universe. He survives and then he does something. Who knows?
But that's literally he spent like 10 minutes on screen, and then Han just hits him. Blind Han hits him, and he just goes flying right into the Sarlacc pit. We're like, oh, Boba Fett died. Let's also talk about the heart-wrenching moment of where they added that new song. Of the fucking in the fucking. I was like, oh god, I don't even remember the original song that was in there, but the one that they gave us,
I vaguely remember the original song. I think it was more of like a blues kind of song, but it made sense with the room because it's like a gross den where assholes are just coming and smoking drugs and shit. And it made sense. It's like a jazz club song. This is or it was in 1983, the debut of the character of the Emperor, as played by Ian McDermott, and he is absolutely wonderful. He steals the movie.
For you.
He does. He steals the movie.
I really didn't care for him.
Really?
Like, I think him as the Emperor, yeah, he does a fantastic job. I don't think he does such an excellent job to merit such...
He's just weird. His whole acting is just like nuts. Like it's like
how is it nuts? Are you trying to say that he's out there, or
he just sort of just like they told him, well, you're evil. He was like, I'm gonna be as like cartoon evil as possible, and it shouldn't make sense in the movie, but the way he does it makes sense.
Cartoony.
Yeah.
Give me a for instance of someone.
His voice like good. Yes, let the this is like a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon. It is.
It wasn't that over the top though.
It is over the top.
He wasn't like
and then he's like, walking down the stairs, hunched over, but it's great. It's great. It's the most obvious representation of evil you could ever have in a movie.
I guess that is true. And when you have him stand next to someone like Darth Vader, you question, why is Darth Vader listening to this scrawny asshole?
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking about watching the movie, especially when the Emperor first arrives to the new Death Star, and he's just walking down the aisle with Darth Vader, and he's so short.
Yeah.
He's so yeah, and he talks like a little asshole, and he's just like this. Seriously, Darth Vader can just bitch slap him, and it'll be
powerful. Over. You saw 1, 2, and 3.
Lando had an increased role in here, even though it wasn't enough, in my opinion. Yeah. But he's more of an active character. He's helping the rebellion now, and still the only black guy on screen.
No, there's one black pilot.
Yeah, but he died.
You know what I always found bizarre about Lando's role in this, and him and Han's relationship, is that the last thing Han remembers is Lando betraying him. And then he's just been in that carbonite the whole time. When he comes out, he sees Lando. It's like they're brothers. And I don't. Maybe there's a conversation off screen that happened or something, and they had a therapy session. But it just seemed like the minute he saw him, he should have been at his throat.
It's because Leia was, knocking it out with Lando. So they're Eskimo brothers.
Oh my God. Pretty consistent performances from everybody else. Harrison Ford. Just being Harrison Ford. He looks a little bored sometimes in the movie.
Most of the times he's a little bored.
Yeah, they don't give him much to do though. Him and Leia
don't have a lot of lines. That is true. It's mostly Mark. Mark has most.
Which it should be.
Yeah.
This is the conclusion of his story, of his journey.
Oh, remember that scene where the Ewoks they see the Ewoks for the first time? That's a perfect representation of just Harrison Ford pushing it, and Mark Hamill trying to.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because of how Harrison Ford was performing or how he was reacting to the teddy bears, but it just seemed like Mark Hamill couldn't take it.
Yeah.
At every minute he was
laughing. He was covering up his laughter.
It was so cute.
Even the exit transition of that scene. He was just like, when the Ewoks think that C-3PO is a god, and so they're all he's trying to play nice, and they pan out, and then it's the out shot, and then Han Solo
right before it transitions.
Yeah, Han Solo said, he's been my friend for years, and then you just see Mark Hamill go.
I joked that was probably the first time they had ever seen the Ewoks, so
they kept it a secret.
Movie? Yeah.
They kept it a secret.
Yeah,
it was more childish in that sense that the Ewoks, I think, were there to grab more of a child audience.
Yeah, they're just fuzzy, cuddly toys. There's some bullshit reason though that they're there. They're supposed to be representatives
yeah. Of what?
Of the Viet Cong from Vietnam.
Why though? It doesn't. Okay, because is it in the 70s? I guess is it still reeling from?
It's fresh still. It's only 1983, and it's supposed to be we came to Vietnam thinking we have the biggest guns, the most technologically advanced weapons. We're gonna just destroy them, and they destroyed us just from hiding and knowing their surroundings, knowing their environment.
So the Ewoks I see.
So the big empire with their weapons and their AT-ATs and the little teddy bears with rocks. This one was the one that kind of broke the franchise before the prequels broke the franchise. this one was not popular when it came out. It was just kind of like a head scratcher for everyone. It's still regarded as better than the prequels, and it is a good movie, and it concludes the story. But there's a lot of like Phantom Menace-y things going on. It's kind of like this one is the boyfriend that you get married to, or that you're dating, and he's like, you can kind of tell there's something wrong, but you kind of ignore it, and he's like, well, I'm happy with him. And then when you marry him, he becomes a Phantom Menace, and he's beating you and doing drugs.
Your analogy is so prolonged. It's like, why can't you just say like it's one of your funny uncles or something?
No, because it's not. Your funny uncle don't fuck you and beat you like the Phantom Menace does.
It's got really weird. He's like, he's my father, and then he goes, I have it, and my sister. And then it's just like awkward silence, and then Carrie Fisher looks up like that, and then she's just like, yes, and he goes, you are, and then she's like, I've always known. And it's just like, well, bitch, you kissed him when you knew. It's like
I've always known it. I read it in the scripts in the third act.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, it was a mediocre reveal of it. And then, of course, they had to like lighten the load of that, I guess. And so they had Han come in, and Han was just like, well, you could tell Luke that. And then that's the kind of like the first, I guess, trying to demonstrate the little like rockiness that is their relationship.
Yeah, and they're trying to bring back the tension from the first movie between the three, and it's like we already didn't care anymore.
You told me also that there was a lot of pressure on this director.
Yeah, and the screenwriter. So George Lucas was not too happy about Empire Strikes Back being considered the greatest Star Wars movie, and he didn't really have a lot to do with it. So he kind of decided to come back on to his baby, and Lawrence Kasdan, who's writing Force Awakens, he wrote Empire Strikes Back. He wrote the first draft for Return of the Jedi, and George Lucas just took that script and tore it apart and sort of made it into his own, what we have today. And the same with Richard Marquand, who was the director. George Lucas was just breathing down his neck throughout the whole entire production. It was pretty much like George Lucas directed the movie.
I kind of saw that the Ewok, where they filmed the Ewok, the Redwoods in San Francisco. It's like kind of reminds me of in the trailer where Luke is hiding out with R2-D2 and he places his hand. That's kind of like a foresty area. So what if Luke wanted to seek solitude and went back to Endor and just decided to be there and spend his time with the Ewoks? And that's when you had lashed out and said, if there's fucking Ewoks in the new movie, I'm just gonna walk out. Man, Ewoks never get no respect. The rebellion would have failed without them.
Fucking midget.
The scene that has the most tension would be like the ending scene, the fighting scene when he fights his father, and the Emperor is just looking on like a little fucking weak ass motherfucker. And it's just, well, what grabs you about it? Like,
it's beautifully choreographed, and when people when they stop fighting and they start talking, it all ties together.
Mm-hmm. So it's none of that bullshit like from the first one where it's just massive fights
and then stop
swinging bitches and
then exposition and then start fighting again. No, this is like tied together. Whatever Darth Vader says to Luke, it gets him angry and he strikes him down more. Is great. And it's a nice iconic way to sort of it's fan service to give us that last great lightsaber battle, because at the time it was pretty much like we weren't going to see another Star Wars movie.
It pits father. It's a lot of parallels, right? There's a lot of parallels in the movie, and especially at the ending scene. Pits father against son. Of course, it's darkness against light, but also it marries even their physicalness. Like his hand, he chops off his hand at the very end, and I like that's beautiful. You think the tipping edge then is when he finds out that Leia exists? Because that's kind of like the turning, right? He says, sister. And then they start breaking out, and then that's...
I don't know, yeah. To me, too, the Emperor baits Luke to strike him down with the lightsaber, but Darth Vader stops him from doing that. When they cross lightsabers, I always thought, like, maybe he's stopping his son from going all the way,
Oh. What do you rate it?
I would give Return of the Jedi 4 out of 5.
Dang.
It's just something about it doesn't work for me. It's entertaining. I'm not saying it's bad. It's an entertaining movie. I still will watch it over and over and over again, but it's just something doesn't click. It's odd. It's an odd little movie.
It is an odd movie.
Doesn't fit in.
I gave it a 4.2. Yeah, because I was feeling that too throughout the movie. You know, I was entertained, but there was something missing. I think what was missing was more of the beats to it. Like if they would have actually slimmed it down more, cut out those scenes that weren't necessary, like what's the more
just sort of all the Ewok scenes. Like they can exist in the movie, but a lot of that stuff was just like, ugh, just like, can we just get to the end of the movie?
It was dragging on. It was dragging on in the middle, and I think if they just slimmed it down and kind of, you know, propelled it more.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is the structure is a little off.
But maybe the structure that's off too, because you know the first and the second one did a really good job of balancing it as an ensemble piece, like with Leia, Han, and Luke. But when you focus on Luke, you're losing Han and Leia.
Yeah.
And maybe you're losing what was like an integral part, which is the team aspect of the movie. These movies are still a milestone in my own heart. Like they just made, I don't know. I can't even speak on them on that kind of level. Like they're just awesome for me. But growing older, you get more critical and you just learn.
But at the end of the day, though, these movies are made for entertainment, and that's exactly what they did. Even 1, 2, and 3, whether it was negative entertainment or positive entertainment. And we make fun of him, and we say how much we hate his input and what he does, but George Lucas is the guy who gave us all this.
He is Big Daddy or Big Papa.
Big Papa. He gets mad props for even thinking of this bullshit up and having us hooked on this shit. And he's just the greatest for what he's done for us and for special effects, for the movie industry and entertainment. You know? Yeah,
but we can't wait. We are only about now when we're recording this 5 days away from actually seeing the movies, and we are set. We're set to see it twice together, and then I think he's gonna set to see it a third time.
Yeah, I gotta take my mama.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun. I cannot wait to see. I just cannot wait. I want to know who these characters are, where they come from. I can't even talk.
And where is Luke?
Where is Luke?
Where could he be?
Mark Hamill, stop playing with our emotions. You see those pictures he's put up?
Oh yeah.
Of all the little stuff, like he's just like that.
Little articles and.
I can't wait. But we want to thank you guys and let us know how we're doing. Please comment on our pages and. Join us for this celebration and this massive event that's happening with Star Wars soon. Go see the movie.
So I guess we will see you guys on our next review, which will be Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. So I guess that's it. May the Force be with you. We love you. Have fun. Enjoy the movie.
Be safe.